So let's start with slide one, Willis College Artificial Intelligence Programs. There are 3 programs in the AI series. So we call them nested dolls. There's the longest, the middle, and then the shortest. So the first program is data analysis, and it is a 26-week program with an 8-week practicum. Then the second program is Business Intelligence Analyst, and that is a 46-week program. And then there is the 74-week, the big sister of all of them, the Data Analyst and Artificial Intelligence program. So my very first question out to Anthony, what types of skills should a student have coming into these programs? Oh, Anthony, we can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, there you are.
Thank you very much, and I'm so excited about these programs. So the very basic skill that future students needs to have is the computer foundation. So when I say computer foundation, I mean hardware, operating systems, basic programming like Python and SQL, and some statistics as well. However, because we know future students might not have these skills or they've acquired this skill in the past, so we catered for this in the early stage of the program.
Okay, so to come into any of these 3 programs, we would need some really good computer skills, a little bit of programming, and some math statistics. Is that a fair? Excellent. Okay, thank you. All right. So let's talk about the first program, which is data analysis. That is the Enter program. It is the 26-week-long program. In this program, you're going to learn Excel, and this is advanced Excel as well as basic Excel. You're going to use Excel to do some data organizing, some analyzing, looking at data trends. You're going to learn database management with SQL, some data visualization, and some statistical analysis and prediction. So this all sounds really very data-driven. I'm really diving down deeply into data to try and understand better what it does and how it does it. Is that a fair representation, Marzi?
I believe that is one of the skills that you're going to need if you're pursuing a career in machine learning. And like you need to have the skills to clean data, transform data, and visualize data. And tools like Excel and SQL are very good at it.
Thank you so much. So Anthony, what sort of tasks would I be doing in my career if I took the data analysis diploma?
Thank you very much. Just like my wonderful friend Marzi said, so for the data analyst program, the students will be expected to be able to collect data, clean data, analyze large data sets, and that's why skills like Excel come handy, and other tools that the students will be using to identify patterns, for example, in a large data set, and find correlation as well in those data sets.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So there's 3 programs nested. The first one is data analysis. Nick, how long is the data analysis program and when does it start? Nick, you're on mute, my dear.
My apologies. I didn't notice I was on mute. Yeah, as you mentioned, the smallest of the bunch is the data analysis program. It takes 28 weeks, which translates into 680 hours of full-time training. And at the end of the program, the students will receive Ontario diplomas.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, the second program, the midpoint of our nested dolls, is our Business Intelligence Analyst. In here, you're going to do some Python data wrangling, which I think is a fabulous term. You're going to use Python to clean and transform data and create visual stories. It's going to be very interactive. You're going to be making things like dashboards, you're going to do advanced SQL, and you get your first introduction into the fabulous world of AI intelligence, an introduction to concepts and applications of AI, implementation of chatbot for customer service, and building predictive models for forecasting. This all sounds really interesting. Anthony, can you tell me a little bit about the favorite term I just identified, Python data wrangling?
Yeah, I really love that, the sound of that as well. So part of the things the future students will be doing in this Business Intelligence Analyst program as well is to be able to create visualization reports. So those reports will be used for communicating the findings that I mentioned earlier. That's the patterns, the correlations, reports. So those would be the tools that will be required are like Tableau, Power BI, and so on to communicate these findings in a visual way to stakeholders.
Love it. Thank you. You might be convincing me. I might be ready to think about doing this program, you know. And the endpoint, the mother of all three programs, the data analysis and artificial intelligence. This is where we're going to be doing all of the things we talked about in the previous slides, as well as our natural language processing. That's teaching machines to understand and generate human language and developing a chatbot. We're going to do some image processing, which is using AI to analyze and manipulate images. And we're going to do some machine learning and some artificial intelligence, learning how machines can use data to make decisions. During the programs, you're going to be doing a lot of projects. This is very project-based. It allows you to ensure that you can use all of the skills that we're teaching you in the setting that you need. In data analysis, students are going to use real-world scenarios in marketing, sales, finance, and operations. You're going to improve your analytical and decision-making skills. In business intelligence analysis, now we're engaging in projects that involve really creating interactive dashboards, conducting data-driven analysis, and we're looking at guiding decisions. And then in our big program, the one we all are really interested in, which is data analysis and artificial intelligence, the projects are really advanced. We're looking at machine learning, natural language processing, image processing, creating impactful solutions in various industries. So all of this is amazing, but at the end of the day, when you have your diploma, where can this take you? I think it's fair to say that within the next 5 years, artificial intelligence is going to change the way we live our lives. Artificial intelligence is part of every single business. In data analysis, there's lots of opportunities in marketing, sales, finance, and operations. In business intelligence, we're looking more into market research, e-commerce, really data-driven decision-making. And then in AI, we're looking at machine learning, data science, tech industries, data applications, so many things. I'm not sure if you all know, but I actually live in Edmonton, Alberta, and Amazon built a large warehouse here about a year ago that is completely robot driven, start to finish, getting the order to shipping the order. It's all robots. You can actually do tours of this warehouse, and it is fascinating. There's these really cool robots that move along the shelves. They find a code, they grab the product, they put it in a box. and it gets mailed out and it's all done. There's only one human in the entire warehouse, and he greets you at the door to give you the tour. Everything else is done by a robot. It's so cool. I think it might be our future. Anthony, what are the essential skills required to begin a career in data analysis and AI?
Thank you very much. I will start with an example. So for example, you're working in a company, you've been asked to analyze sales data over a period of time. And you've been asked to identify items that are the top sellers, items that have low sales, items that needs to be taken out of inventory, and items that are not generally performing well. So you've been given this task, you have the data, and you've been asked to analyze this. Part of the skills that you need to begin a career would be Excel at the very basic. Database that we talked about, statistics. One must be able to develop scripts to manipulate this data. One must be able to create visual reports. And finally, like you mentioned, one needs AI and machine learning experience to be able to solve these problems and create effective solutions.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. Marzi, can you tell me about the best practices for ensuring responsible and ethical use of AI? I alluded earlier that in the next 5 years, we're all going to be in an AI world, but we need to make sure that we're doing limitations. Tell me about the ethical use of AI.
One of the biggest resources that we have in AI that we use for problem solving is data. And for gathering that data, we need to make sure that since we're gathering it from people, from entities, we need to make sure that we're doing it ethically. We need to anonymize and encrypt the data that we're gathering from the user. We should design a protocol to do that. We definitely should have consent from the users that we're getting the data from. They need to be informed about how we're collecting the data, what data we're collecting, how we store it, and how we're going to use it. There should be some regulations about who in the company can access the data. Not everybody can, access the data because it's for people. And always there should be a human auditing the AI system to make sure that it's not being biased, because the data can be biased. Maybe in your data you have more population of and specific ethnicity or a specific nationality, and then your model easily can pick up biases from your data. And you described the warehouse in Edmonton, and you said there's a human there. I bet that human has more responsibilities than just giving it to.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does.
That's a good move to put a human there to make sure that we're not deleting the human from the process.
Thank you, Marzi.
Yeah, sure.
I did a little bit of reading. Well, I know, shocking for everybody, but one of the things I was trying to understand was the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning in AI. Anthony, can I ask you to speak to that a little bit for me?
Sure. So supervised learning, these are data that contains label. So that means data that has been sorted already. Really, really easy to import and to act on them. Unsupervised learning is when you are working with data that don't contain specific label. So one is sorted, one is unsorted, and you have to create machine learning model to be able to interpret these different kinds of data.
Okay. So I might age myself, so I'm going to ask for forgiveness in advance. Way back when, before the world was all about computers, I had to learn DOS. And in DOS, I had to give commands to the computer to do an action. Is that machine learning? Is that telling the machine to do something and then it does it?
Yes, so that's why programming is an essential part of machine learning and essential part of AI. So I attended the conference 2 weeks ago in Edmonton, Upper Bound Conference on AI. And one of the things we were discussing in the conference is how machines have evolved. So AI is not a new concept. It has been existing for so many years, just that in this current century is the driving force of technology.
A little different than the DOS I learned just a few years ago. Thank you, Anthony.
So if I may interject something, Bonnie.
Please.
Jim asked a very good question, I think. And it's all about, we're talking about artificial intelligence all the time. So, but one of the main questions is, what is it? Like, what is artificial intelligence if somebody asks you? So again, correct me if I'm wrong. I know that we have great experts in the field, but my understanding of the term artificial intelligence is that it makes it possible for machines to learn from experience, adjust to new inputs, and perform human-like tasks. Is that correct, Anthony?
That's correct as well. And Mazi can correct me as well. So I'll pass the chain of correction. So my understanding again is machine learning is being able to act like human. It can't be human, but it's able to learn over time, learn patterns, and be able to act like human. I will give an example of the recent, most people, when they hear the word artificial intelligence, in the last 1 year, what comes to mind is ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when ChatGPT came on board last year or two, if you ask ChatGPT a question that he doesn't know, he's going to apologize. Sorry, I'm going to learn this. So that's why when the machine learning is one of the tools that has powered AI recently. So in a nutshell, artificial intelligence is the ability to be able to reason like human with a lot of learning over time. And again, Marcy can correct me.
That was correct. There's nothing to add there.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It was a great question. I think we use the term without truly understanding what it is we might be referring to. Thank you. There's just a couple more slides, and then we're going to open it up for questions. All right, so tools and applications. During your time here at Willis College, you're going to learn a lot of tools and applications. We talked already about using Excel and SQL. There's also Python, and something that I had to check that I hadn't misread, R, which is a scripting language, and then machine learning libraries, which just sound fascinating. Anthony, can you explain the importance of these tools when I'm learning here at Willis College?
Thank you so much. So again, these tools are various tools that we are going to use to teach all the 3 programs. For example, in the first program, which is the data analyst program, we're going to utilize Excel, SQL, and we're going to teach Python. So all of these scripts, all of these tools, they are very, very important to be able to analyze data, find those trends I talked about earlier, create visualization, and most importantly, the last machine learning libraries, I believe TensorFlow and so on, and Keras and so on, they are advanced Python frameworks that we use to develop machine learning models.
Thank you, Anthony. All right, so now it's over to our fabulous guests tonight. The panel are here to answer your questions. We are not able to hear you, so the only way you can ask a question is to type it into the chat box or the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So down in the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a chat and you'll also see a Q&A. It should be right along the bottom. There's probably a few little buttons down there. Highly encourage you to type a question into chat or Q&A. And the questions are coming. I'm so excited. All right, so let's see. Anthony, do I need experience in the field before I register for this program?
Beautiful question. And I get this question a lot from prospective students. The simple answer is no, you don't require any experience in the IT field to be able to register for the program. That's because in the program, we've taken into account all the foundation skill that the future students will require to succeed in the program.
Awesome. Thank you. And what about a computer? I know for some of our programs here at Willis College, we need to have a special computer with lots and lots of RAM. Do I need the same for any of these programs?
I'm afraid yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, you need at least a Windows, We highly recommend a Windows operating system, at least a Windows 10, preferably Windows 11 operating system with a good amount of RAM. I will suggest at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. Then for the storage space, I will recommend at least a 250 gigabytes storage space as well.
And we're back to words Bonnie doesn't understand. Thank you, Anthony. Eric, the questions are pouring in. I'm super excited. We got kudos for a great presentation. Thank you, everybody. What lab work will I be able to do? And are there demos in class for the labs? Over to you again, Anthony.
Thank you very much. So there are tons of labs. So the way the program is designed, so there's the regular, the program, I must say, is going to be instructor-led. So it's not a program that you have to study. You still require to study on your own, so I have to put that out there, but it's instructor-led. So you have instructors that will be there to hold your hands throughout from the beginning of the program till the end. So each day, there will be a presentation from the instructor, and the program is extremely hands-on. So there are tons of lab activities for the students to do every day, and there will be an assignment that the student has to complete at the end of the day.
Awesome. Questions are pouring in, so I'm just going to keep going if that's okay. The next one is a really interesting question. I like this one. I'm an office administrator. I have fairly basic computer skills, but I can navigate Microsoft. I don't have programming experience. Is this still a program I can pursue? And how do I complete any prerequisites?
Thank you very much. And I hope I can jump on that as well.
Please.
So the program, being an office administrator is perfect. I believe the student asking the question, or the prospective student, has even more than enough that we need to register in the program. Being an office administrator, that means you've had access to data. You can even use Excel, Office Suite, which I believe Excel is part of it. The only thing the student is asking is lack of understanding of basic programming, which we are going to cover in the very first course. So in the very first course in the program, we've called it a computer foundation course. In that course, we've gone to the basics. We won't talk about DOS, but we'll definitely talk about the modern programming languages that you can use to implement solutions for data analysts.
Okay, we don't have to keep bringing up DOS. I know I aged myself, Anthony. Thank you. Jobs in this field, in data analysis and artificial, remote, in office, a little bit of both. Where are we going? Marzi, do you go to the university every day? Do you work from home?
In my lab, my supervisor, even before COVID, didn't mandate us going to the lab. And during the COVID, everybody was remote, but even after the COVID, it's the same. We don't have to go to the lab. So yeah,
Nice.
working remote is great. But sometimes we actually go to the lab just to socialize.
I was going to
So it's
say, I
not
like the
actually
social
only.
aspect, so I understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ooh, I love this. So what are the specific steps and requirements for international students to enroll? So it's a great question, but unfortunately, Willis College does not take international students. We only take Canadian domestic students at this time. But let's change the question a little bit, Nick. And if you could tell me what the specific steps are for a student to enroll in our programs here at Willis College.
Absolutely. So there are some admissions requirements at Willis College to become a student. There are two key components for those requirements. The first one is Canadian high school diploma or equivalent. Willis College also admissions, our team at admissions can assist the students without any Canadian educational documents or Canadian high school or diploma. For mature students, if you don't have any Canadian education, we do have our entrance evaluation exam. So upon successfully completing your entrance evaluation, you have provided us with one of those requirements. And so this is the key requirement for AI programs, as well as a valid photo ID. So these are the two key components.
Thank you. And of course, we already learned you have to have a really good computer.
Absolutely.
So the questions are coming faster than I can read them, which is amazing. Let's go to this one. What kind of careers can someone expect to go into after completing each level of the program? So let's talk data analyst. What can I do as a career with data analyst? Anthony.
I was waiting for you to call me. So one of the biggest is finance. So finance is a very important field because you need to plan budgets, analyze investments, and things like that. So once a student complete the data analyst program, the students will be an hot cake in the market for in the finance industry. Another one is sales. Looking at my example, so for sales, once the students complete the data analyst course, will be able to forecast trends, identify patterns and things like that. And I'll jump into the business intelligence analyst program. One can work in the retail industry to monitor sales, to monitor inventories and things like that. And also in the healthcare. So the healthcare, you'll be able to improve patient care using AI. Like one of the conference I attended, there were a lot of healthcare professionals there. I heard in Alberta, you can spend hours in emergency, but having information to data like this and having machine learning models to work on this data, it helps triage patients effectively and reduce that downtime. And finally, to the big one, AI. And one of my biggest interest in AI is in cybersecurity. So we all know about right now, this year alone, there's been a lot of cyber attacks, ransomware, everywhere. So having experience with AI would help reduce some of these attacks. You can detect an attack before it happens and mitigate these attacks once you have experience with these AI tools.
Anthony, based on what you just said, do you think having my cybersecurity analyst and then moving into artificial intelligence makes me like the magic person in the future of careers?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things when developing this program, that's one of the things we considered. For you to be an all-round IT professional, you have to be able to secure the data. That's coming from the cybersecurity because IT is all about information. So being able to secure that information is very good, but it doesn't end there. Most businesses, they need to be able to utilize this data for growth, for revenue, for make money. So having those two, they are very good combo to have a successful career in IT.
Is it too late to change my career, I wonder? I have a really great question from a student. And Anthony, this one is for you again. So given that this is a new program and it is delivered online, what kind of support can I expect if I'm struggling to understand a lab or a project?
Thank you very much. So the program will have instructors. Like I mentioned earlier, it will be instructor-led. So we have instructors delivering this, and instructors will be there to attend to students. In addition to that, in the program, there will be teaching assistants to work with the students to understand these labs better and also guide them on these real-world projects we've been talking about.
And of course, as part of Willis College support, we also have our student coordinators who are there to help with any technical issues. We won't know the labs and projects, but we're going to learn them. And your faculty heads, your instructors, so many people to help support you along the way. Thank you, Anthony. Nick, finally a question where I can make sure you're with me. Do
Absolutely.
I have to attend online classes every day?
Well, thank you. That's a very interesting question. Well, it is mandatory for all students to know that this is an online program. And of course, you're going to have to complete your practicum at the end of the program, depending on the program that you will choose. Your classes are laid out 5 days of the week, from Monday to Friday. The students need to attend all 5 days. In other words, you need to dedicate a minimum of 30 hours per week to this program. Now, let me give you a laydown of like how the classes look like and what's expected of you to join this program. You've got 5 days of the week from Monday to Friday. We have both flexible hours. Morning sessions start from 10 a.m. till noon Eastern time, and the evening sessions from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern time. So each day you can expect a 2-hour lecture. You need to attend 2 sessions per week, which is going to be your mandatory days. So remember, those 2 days that you select are going to be your live sessions. In other words, your program is going to be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous programs. So let's say if it's a mandatory session and it's a morning session, you need to log into your portal. You need to sit in front of your laptop with your camera on at 10 o'clock in the morning, sharp, Eastern time. And if it's an evening session, at 8 p.m. sharp. Other days, you still need to log into your portal, but in your own time. So let's put it this way. Your classes are going to be divided into 2 categories, 2 groups. Your mandatory days, you log in as scheduled. Your non-mandatory days, you still need to log in to your portal in your own time. And remember, you need to contribute to the daily class discussions. So remember, you need to do it on a daily basis. There's no class on the weekend, except for every Sunday, there's going to be an exam or an assignment. There's a 14-hour window open to you, which allows you to log in and complete your assignment.
Thank you, Nick. That was a fabulous description of the attendance at Willis College Online.
No
Nick,
problem.
when do the programs start? Do they start soon?
Well, yes. The next intake for the programs are going to be the 30th of September. So remember, the 30th of September, it means that your graduation is going to be the 25th of April for the data analyst. And I'm sure you know that each program has a different length, but 30th of September is the start date for our AI programs.
Excellent. And if it's starting in the 30th of September, should I apply now or do I wait until August?
Oh, absolutely. This is a great idea to apply now. And we all know that finance applications can take a lot of time. But absolutely, if you're ready to enroll, I highly recommend that you act soon. And this is a great opportunity for you to meet your admissions advisor and your finance advisor at Willis. And you're going to meet your student coordinator and your enrollment coordinator as well.
So here at Willis College, we have a student journey when you start school. The first part of your journey is admissions. You're going to reach out to your admissions advisor. They're going to set up an interview with you. They're going to go through the program, through the online delivery, all of the different processes. As part of that first interview, you're going to meet a finance advisor. That finance advisor is going to help you decide your best possible way to pay the tuition for school. We all know the most common way is student loan, but there are other ways as well. So the student advisor, the student finance advisor is going to help you decide what your best option is. Once that's been decided, the process for enrollment and finance can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. So we do strongly advise students to enroll sooner rather than later. We do keep our class sizes online to 30 students so that there's lots of opportunity for instructors to be able to help students. So only 30 per class. We want to make sure that you have your opportunity to get into this fabulous new field. Highly recommend that you get into the admissions process soon. Once you've been recruited, you're going to meet your enrollment coordinator. The job of your enrollment coordinator is to really facilitate all of your questions from enrollment to the first day of school. Questions like, I haven't heard from my finance advisor. How are things going? I don't know when orientation is. Is this the right computer that I need for school? Cameron is our fabulously talented enrollment coordinator, and he's going to answer all of those questions and make sure that you feel really good about that first day of school start. Before school starts, there's orientation and success workshops. All of these things are put in place to try and ensure that students start school feeling really excited, anxiety is low, and success is high. Process for admissions and finance is 4 to 6 weeks. We strongly recommend getting started now. Don't think about it all summer. Wouldn't it be better to sit in the sun and enjoy it and know that you're going to be starting school on the 30th of September? Let's see if there's any more questions. I do see a hand up. Please remember to type your question into the chat box or the Q&A. All right. While we're waiting to see if there's any more questions, I have one. I talked about the robots in Amazon because it's the only thing I know. Is there anywhere else right now in the world around us that we wouldn't even know is using artificial intelligence?
So when we hear the word robots, like one of my mentors always say, when you don't know about technology, it all looks like magic.
That's true.
But when we hear the word robots, there are actually diverse fields of robots. So robotics is one. Internet of Things is another area that AI is being applied to recently. So we have like a project that I've worked on in the past is using artificial intelligence for wildfire detection. Like I live in BC, where this year we've seen a lot of rain, so we are excited. But last year, where wildfire was a big threat, so you can have sensors in those wildfire-prone areas, and with the data that those sensors have been generated, you can use artificial intelligence to predict even before the fire occurs, and you can act, because all what artificial intelligence does in the field of Internet of Things is to be able to predict when something is going to happen and act on it.
That's amazing. Thank you, Anthony. Oh, I like this question. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to do it anyway. Can a student who completed any of the Willis College Help Desk, CSO, or CSA programs, is there any credit into the data analyst or AI programs?
Okay. Right now, no.
Oh, that's what I
that,
thought.
yeah, right now, no. That's because there's no direct mapping for the CSA program, that's the Cybersecurity Analyst program, and the Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. There's no direct mapping for those courses. Each of the course, if there's going to be direct mapping, then there will be some that hasn't been taken care of. So is the short answer is no.
Thank you, Anthony. All right, I think that's all the questions I'm seeing come in. We're going to wait about 30 more seconds to see if anyone has any more questions. We do have, Igor says that he thinks AI on traffic cams to help predict accidents, change lights, predict traffic flow. That makes sense to me.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful implementation or application of artificial intelligence. And I particularly love this one.
Oh, this is a great question. What kind of practicums would I be expected to participate in? We know the practicums for data analysts are 8 weeks, for business intelligence is 8 weeks, and for our big mama, it's 16 weeks. If we can work in almost any environment, would our practicums also be in any environment, Anthony?
Yes. So the good thing is there's no industry right now that doesn't utilize data. Even Willis College, we utilize data. We get
do.
data from our students. We use it for budgeting. We use it to determine the number of hires. We use it for planning, essentially. So that's the good thing about this field. There is no sector. I gave examples of finance, sales, marketing, operations, healthcare, cybersecurity, manufacturing. I can go all on and on. So there's no field, there's no industry that a graduate cannot work, can work.
Awesome. Thank you. I do think finally the questions have slowed down, which is amazing. Oh, wait. Anthony, you spoke about computer languages. What languages should I need to learn to be successful for AI programs? I know HTML a little bit.
Oh, brilliant. So the good thing is the student already knows HTML, which is a very tough language to learn. So for this course, it's heavily reliant on Python and R. So these are the programming languages that the program is built on. So with an experience in HTML, which again, I must admit is very, very difficult to learn, I believe the student will have an easy ride with Python or R programming.
Nice. That's good to hear. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for their time tonight. It has been an amazing event. Thank you for answering all of our questions and for being here with me. I know I have learned a whole lot about these programs and I'm even more excited than I was before. I see it all with a very different lens and I'm super excited that I got to share it with you.